Hi, I'm Loryan Strant, and welcome to another episode of Work From Home Warriors. So I've got with me Laurie Pottmeyer from the Microsoft Teams team over in Portland, Oregon. Hello, Laurie.
Hello, Lauren. Thanks for having me.
So, Laurie, tell me about your role. So you're in the Teams team, but you're not actually in the team physically. So can you tell me about the role and how that makes working from home possible for you?
Sure. So I do have a remote office. I do work out of my home 100%. I'm part of the Microsoft Teams team, and I am the community manager for both Skype for Business and Microsoft Teams. So not all of, but much of our team, most of our team is in Bellevue, Washington, which is about 3 hours away from where I sit at home. And so they are remote to me. I am remote to them. My direct manager is in that office. However, a couple of other members of our team are also remote. So we do have a geographically somewhat diverse team with one of our team members in Minnesota and one in North Carolina. So we have 3 time zones just in our team alone.
Wow. So, being 3 hours away from your team, how often would you say that you actually physically see them, like in person?
I try to go up about every 6 to 8 weeks. Obviously, the more face time I can get and sitting down and having meetings and meeting people face to face is best. But I also have events that we go to, like Ignite and Microsoft Ignite the tour, and there are different additional events where I can interact with my team as well. But just for meeting's sake and having FaceTime, I try to go up about every 6 weeks.
So when you do go there, how do you find the interactions with the people in person versus having the interactions with those, I guess, the same people remotely?
Good question. It's always a challenge. I think for me, being the minority in people who work from home and everybody else going in day to day and seeing each other in the office and having those kind of water cooler conversations and lunch with each other, and they know each other on a different level. So it is a little bit strange for me walking in. You kind of feel like you're walking into a party where you don't really know that many people. But then once you start, you recognize somebody, it's like, oh yes, we work together often. Certainly that's strange for me, is because I have these online kind of working relationships where I'm in Teams all the time. I'm on video with these people, but there is a certain dynamic that you miss when you are in person. And so that's why I try to also go in and have that FaceTime as well.
So how do you handle then the other basically 6 to 8 weeks when you're not there? How do you handle the isolation, the fact that it's kind of like oh, well, it's all on me. I'll get up and I'll do my thing. How do you handle that?
I don't feel isolated. We do a really good job at having regular team meetings where all of us are on video. We really make it a habit to be on video with just general meetings. And so you do feel more a part of everything. I think we also have a great awareness that there are more people working remote today. And so some of those best practices, when you have a conference room full of people, for instance, and one or two people remote, taking a break to call out to the people who are remote and talking to them and having them, have a minute to respond, or breaking for them to respond, calling them out. I think our team is pretty good at doing those things. We've gotten more in the habit just because we do have more remote people today. But it is an effort. When you work from home, you do have to make an effort to be seen. And, I kind of took that for granted, because when I was in the office and had a manager that sat in the office with me, she could hear everything I was doing and understood exactly what my day-to-day work was, and knew how long I worked and how much I worked and exactly what I did and how I was at my job. And so when you work from home, your manager, my manager, doesn't see that. That my peers don't see that. They don't know what I do, other than what I tell them, what they see in the meetings that I attend, and actually how I document my impact in the work that I do. And so you really do have to make an effort to really keep people in the loop and let them know exactly what you're working on, and who else you're working with as well. Things can get
Right.
lost very quickly.
That's a really interesting perspective. Is I guess it is making the other people aware of what you're doing, whereas we, I guess, tend to just say, "Well, I'm doing my work, so here's my output." Whereas a lot of people say, "Well, what are they working on in the interim?" Um,
Right.
so you've been at Microsoft for a while. How long have you actually been a work from home warrior? Like, has it always been the way, or has it kind of been an easy?
No, so when I first started at Microsoft full time 13 years ago, I worked in the office with my manager and had a small team in the office. And so we all worked together, a traditional working environment where we had cubes and that was our environment. And then we moved offices and we had a very open environment. And around that time, I began reporting to somebody who was not in my office, who was in Redmond. And so I had a remote manager, and most of my team was not in my office as well. And so as time went on and I changed roles over time, there really wasn't as much of a reason for me to be in my office in Portland because none of my team was there and my manager wasn't there. And so just for work-life balance sake and really not having that reason to be in the office, I just started working from home more and more. And so I've been working full-time really from home for about the last 4 or 5 years, I would say.
Wow.
Um, yeah, so for a while.
So then, if you've been doing it for that long, what does your daily routine look like around work?
My daily routine varies. There are days where my kids have activities and things that takes me away from my office a little bit more than other days. And so I work different hours. But I would say, my day starts in the morning with kind of checking in and making sure that my emails are triaged and that I know what my meeting schedule looks like. And I'm kind of clearing things out that are urgent. And then I spend about an hour, hour and a half with my kids, just getting them ready for school and out the door and making sure that they're fed and everything. And then about 9 a.m., 8:45, 9 a.m., I'm online for the day. And I work straight until about 4 until, if I need to take somebody somewhere. And then I'm back online in the evening. On days that I don't have responsibilities with my kids after school or before school, I can start much earlier and work much later. And so there's about 3 days a week where I tend to do that. I kind of work through into the evening and into the night and get my work done. But it's really nice that I have the flexibility so that if I want to leave and go meet somebody for lunch, which is rare, but at least I know I can. Or if I want to go volunteer at my kid's school or something of that sort, if I have an appointment, I know that I don't really have to worry about it because I have the flexibility to work later into the night and my whole setup is here. I don't really have to unpack any huge bags or set anything up. And, it's good and bad. Your office is always here at home.
So, I guess with the kind of like working from home on your own and kind of being, I guess, isolated but not isolated, what do you do to kind of make it that you're not, I guess, sitting at home alone? Like, what I mean is, do you have music playing during the day, or do you sit in silence and just because you're on that many meetings? What does it look like for you?
So I tend not to have music on all day, every day, but there are times when I do. I kind of sit here in silence, to be honest.
Yep.
I kind of sit here and it's pretty quiet. But when I do listen to music, I listen to music in the other room. I kind of have a room that adjoins here in my office, and there's a TV, and I play Pandora through the TV and listen to music that way, just kind of have it as background noise. But it is generally pretty quiet here.
I can understand. I'm the same. I have speakers in other areas of the house, and even then, I still don't play the music. I just like to sit and work in silence. Occasionally, I'll play music, but yeah, I guess yeah, it is kind of a little bit eerie just sitting here and it's just quiet all day. So what's your desk setup like? How's your kind of your kind of control center? What does that look like? What have you got set up?
Yeah, so I'm pretty simple. I have a Surface laptop that I work off of. I use that keyboard actually, and I was finding that I got so used to just using it when I was on the road that when I came home to work, I just got rid of the big keyboard because it was just in the way. So I just use my laptop, my keyboard that comes with that, and then I have a second monitor. Um, and I have a travel monitor so that when I'm traveling too, I can have the dual monitor set up. I think, I'm not one of those people that has monitors all over their walls or, five across their desk. I could definitely use another. But I am stuck on having the dual monitors just for, my work habits. So I have just one big long desk and everything's pretty simple. It gets very cluttered, but it's pretty simple.
So with your, I guess, desk setup, do you ever find yourself working from the coffee table in the lounge room, or the couch, or the bed, or the kitchen, or the yard, or anything like that, or is it just no, the desk is where I work?
Yeah, I think that's just one thing that I've kept is my work is at my desk. And I think it's one way of me kind of making sure that I disconnect from work a little bit. There are definitely times when, the whole family is out watching a movie or something where I need to get something done, but I don't want to totally remove myself. And so I will take my laptop on the couch and work on something. But typically, no, I'm most comfortable at my desk. I have everything that I need here. I have a second monitor. I can use the mouse on my desk, which I can't really on my lap. It's just easier for me and I'm more comfortable. And like I said, it kind of denotes that break that, okay, I'm walking away from my desk. I'm walking away from work.
Makes sense. So, final question. Given that you've been working from home for so long, could you ever envisage working from an office on a regular basis, be it either part-time or even full-time?
That's a really good question. Well, no, I can't envision it. I know that someday that may be the case, but I feel really lucky that I'm able to have the flexibility that I do and have an employer that allows me to do my best work how I do my best work. And so, it's something that I feel I've earned. It's not, working from home isn't always something that every organization allows or, especially right off the bat. So I feel really lucky that I'm able to do that. I save a lot of time for myself and it allows me work-life balance by not having to get ready every morning and have that commute and then have the same commute home. It allows me to be here for my kids in the morning and see them off to school and then do my best work during the day. And then same thing, I can come back and as, my work needs are and, just whatever my schedule is, and I can continue to work through the night when I need to. Many of you are on different time zones, and many of the people that I work with are in different time zones. And so from time to time, I'll, spend some time working late. And because I have my office here set up, I feel like I am just kind of continuing my day. Whereas if I had a office in an office space away from my home, I would have to pack that up and bring it home and completely set it up again. And so I just really like the flexibility that having a home office allows me. And I truly feel that Microsoft does get more out of me because, I'm able to have that flexibility. So I feel really lucky.
More bang for buck and less office space consumed.
Yes, there you go.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much for your time, Laurie. I really appreciate you sharing that with us. And I know it's Thanksgiving and you've got, things to cook and places to go. So thank you very much for your time.
No problem. Thanks, Lauren.